This is Prime 7 Local News with Madeleine Collignon, Kenny Hinkley and meteorologist Carl Linders with your local weather. Now, Prime 7 Local News at 6.
Tonight, a long-time local soft drink maker reveals the crippling cost of moving to the state's container deposit scheme.
Rural roads in the Hastings under pressure and residents are demanding action.
Lifesavers look to the skies for help patrolling beaches these school holidays.
And remaining unsettled and warm for the region tomorrow. The weather details next.
Good evening. There are concerns the state government's new container deposit scheme will hit regional businesses hard.
Atari soft drink manufacturer, who employs 45 locals, has been told it must contribute $300,000 to the state's recycling initiative. Saxby's owners say they need to find the money by November.
Since 1864, Saxby Soft Drinks has been owned and operated by the same family, employing 45 locals on the mid-north coast. Now the company is about to get a $300,000 bill for the government's new bottle recycling scheme.
I think it's been quite confronting for a lot of people in the industry. But smaller guys who do all their business in New South Wales, it's a very big impact.
Mr Turner was initially told by the Environmental Protection Agency that Saxby's only had to cover the cost of label changes and registering with the container deposit scheme. But he's since learned he must put $300,000 into a fund to cover the scheme's expenses. The first invoice for $150,000 will arrive on the 1st of November, and there's a week to pay, just as he's trying to build up soft drink stock for the summer.
Because it's our peak time of year, we're already gearing up for summer and we have a lot of cash requirements just to meet our stock requirements. So having this extra impost at this time has a huge impact.
In his quest for a fairer recycling scheme, Mr Turner has found an ally in local MP Steve BROMHEAD.
Well, what I've done is I've written to the Minister, I've written to the Minister for Small Business as well, saying these are the issues, these are the problems, and said that I would oppose it.
The state government has contracted 6 multinational companies, including Coca-Cola, to run its recycling scheme. This corporate alliance is allowed to decide how much small regional manufacturers must contribute. The EPA has released a statement saying it wants to make sure smaller suppliers aren't inconvenienced, and it's committed to support them through the process. The deposit scheme is due to be rolled out in December. Christine Tondorf, Prime 7 News.
Residents in rural parts of the Port Macquarie Hastings region have hit back at claims council is doing its best for rural roads. After complaints in Rollins Plains yesterday, more rural residents and even a Port Macquarie councillor have stepped up to show their support.
Almost a year ago, these photos were taken after a crash on Blackbutt Road in Herons Creek. Ron Morris was one of the first on scene.
He would have been fully submerged in water, or his head would have been.
Residents say vegetation has been cleared and a couple of signs have been put up.
We don't want it to take a fatality, and I don't want it being me or my children, before the council will help us just that little bit more.
Yesterday, Council told Prime7 News it was committed to ensuring safety on their 1,300 kilometres of roads. But Rollins Plains residents and local logging businesses don't see it that way.
We feel that this is a discrimination in rural areas because there's plenty of upgrading happening in on the eastern side of the highway.
We've got local traffic going to work of a morning. And coming home of an afternoon. We've got school buses on a very narrow road.
Port Macquarie Hastings Mayor Peter Pinson was recently elected on a platform of improving local roads, and today Councillor Sharon Griffiths also delivered the same message. According to the NRMA, the local backlog is more than $97 million.
Do you think that they have a reason to feel neglected?
Yeah, I think they do. In particular, Stony Creek Road has basically the linkage to Port Macquarie, Wauchope, Telegraph Point and through to Kempsey, and it has significant traffic volume on it.
Just last week, a highway smash closed the highway for the 3rd time this month. Hundreds of small vehicles were diverted through Redbank and Pembroke.
And despite the fact that Council have increased funding for rural roads and bridges, local residents say that rural safety doesn't seem important enough.
Samantha Crowe, Prime 7 News.
A two-day workshop developing a plan to better prepare Lismore for extreme flood events is underway. Kris Wall was at the meeting, and Kris, there's some big decisions being made this week.
That's right, Maddie. This meeting being hosted by Lismore City Council is about getting everyone from emergency services through to volunteer groups on the same page when it comes to future flood readiness. Now, as you can imagine, since the March floods, there's been multiple groups and task force set up to look at how well the town prepared for the flood and then what it did to manage the clean-up. Now, this meeting will not address raising the levy bank, with another group already looking at that. Something concrete will come out of these 2 days. Here's Council's Brent McAllister talking about the new direction.
We're going to agree on a Lismore flood ready plan, and the idea of that is to cover some of the gaps that occurred during the Lismore floods, like organising volunteers, which is not part of the state government mandate.
Yeah, so that final Lismore flood ready plan will be unveiled at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. It's hoped the state government will adopt it as a future blueprint for the rest of the state.
All right, thanks, Kris. Kris Wall there in Lismore.
It's Ballina Shire Council's big dream to make the town a centre for the North Coast maritime industry. That's taken a big step with the adoption of the Marina Master Plan. Now it needs investors to make the dream come true.
From this to this. The adoption of 2 plans to develop Ballina's marinas by a council has set the town on a path to being a boatie's paradise. An ambitious blueprint which, if followed all the way through, would have an even more ambitious price tag.
To make this trawler harbour bigger, and there's one of the plans is to make it 3 times bigger and one is twice as big, you're looking at, huge amounts of money to do that.
It's a project that could take years to complete. The marina will be expanded, have shops and potentially high-rise residential as well. Stakeholders want the development but are scratching their heads as to who will fund it.
There's lots and lots of ideas down there, but no one's actually thought how we're going to make this work with the dollars that we've got.
The state government owns the land, the spotlight now on it to help get the development out of the water.
New South Wales at the moment, luckily, is I won't say flush with money, but they've got a surplus. To me, this is infrastructure that would really benefit, New South Wales, especially northern New South Wales, for a long, long time.
It will take private investment as well. Those whose livelihoods depend on the sea believe all stakeholders are on the same page as to what's needed at any new facility.
We know what the residents are looking for. We know what they don't want. So, with all of that in mind, we can work around anything that comes up.
The plan has been put up for community consultation. Kris Wall, PRIME7 News.
Beachgoers in the Port Macquarie Hastings region have had some extra security these school holidays. Drones have been patrolling after fears shark activity would increase.
Every day of the school holidays, Little Ripper has had drones in the sky. Local surf lifesavers looking for sharks from the air. But fears the Nobby's Beach whale carcass would attract sharks have been unfounded.
No, definitely not. We've seen nothing out of the ordinary during our patrols, so that the water's been safe.
The drones are in the sky at least every 30 to 40 minutes and swimmers can feel safe knowing they'll be alerted if anything unfriendly is lurking nearby.
Yeah, I think all the people using the beach are happy to see the drone go up every now and then, and just for that peace of mind to know that there's something in the air above them, keeping an eye out for them.
The most advanced algorithm technology to date was released in September. It's being used as part of this new shark spotting initiative.
It will eventually be able to detect sharks and determine their breed.
If it happens to be a dolphin or a stingray, it learns from that, and soon enough that algorithm will be able to tell us exactly what's in the water.
The initiative will run at Flynn's Beach from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. until the end of the school holidays. Samantha Crowe, PRIME7 News.
Well, it's time now for a quick check of the weather with meteorologist Carl Linders.
Carl, a pretty calm day up and down the coast, weather-wise.
A bit brighter today, Kenny, for the school holidays. A bit of a reprieve from the showers and thunderstorms. We did have some good falls in the south overnight, particularly in lands of Nambucca Heads. We had 31 millimetres of rain recorded there close to Spickett's Creek. Today, really just a couple of thundery showers in that northeastern corner. Casino had 11 millimetres overnight. A lot of the activity has cleared offshore, Plenty of showers and storms back in towards the Darling Downs this afternoon, and now a couple of showers just on the border ranges, but not a great deal to speak about. We do have clearer skies today. Northeasterly winds still pumping in a lot of moisture, and that's going to be the theme for the next couple of days. Another trough is starting to line us up from the west, so an outbreak of severe storms is likely from around Friday afternoon, guys, which is good news because we do need some more rainfall, and there's good signs of some big falls on
That's
the way.
really great to hear. All right, we'll get the details from you later. See ya.
Still to come in Prime 7 News, motor racing fans head to Bathurst as the Great Race takes a trip down memory lane.
And the travelling roadshow keeping gamers busy on the North Coast.
And at 6:30 tonight, shocking new details on the Las Vegas massacre. We see inside the gunman's hotel room. The proposed new laws that could see terror suspects held for up to 2 weeks, and the emotional social media post that triggered an apology from Mel Meninga. Those stories and the rest of the day's national news, they're coming your way next at 6:30.
Stay in touch 24/7 with Prime 7 News.
What's 5 metres tall, weighs 23 tonnes and is keeping gamers busy on the North Coast. Esports are booming and fans in Coffs Harbour have been enjoying a rare travelling roadshow.
It's the way of the future. Esports are now growing so fast in popularity, they're overtaking the entertainment industries of yesterday.
Gaming now, it's actually worldwide, it's bigger than Hollywood. So that might be surprising to some people, but in terms of billions of dollars, the gaming industry is well above Hollywood and actually the music industry joined together.
Owned by HP is their new gaming brand. This giant 5 metre tall, 3 metre wide space rolled into Coffs Harbour this week. It's something sure to send enthusiasts wild.
We are here with our Omen rig, which is a purpose-built semi-trailer that's driving all around Australia, giving everyone the opportunity to get involved in esports.
On board are 25 PCs, laptops and virtual reality consoles. Gamers today were playing 6 vs 6 in Overwatch, which is a popular game. Locals giving the roadshow the thumbs up.
I do a lot of virtual reality stuff, so I'm used to spending a lot of time in virtual reality, and that's not bad.
15-year-old gamer Annabelle Eason took the opportunity to teach her dad a thing or two.
I was playing one of the Australian characters, Junkrat, before, and just then I was coaching my dad how to play Hanzo. He did okay.
And yeah, she's right into it, so I try and, foster that. It's good.
Most gamers are just pleased to have rare access to these latest technologies. The roadshow travels to the Gold Coast tomorrow. Sky Carl, Prime 7 News.
For fans of motor racing, all roads lead to Bathurst this weekend. This year, a special milestone is being marked at Mount Panorama.
Out in the open for all to see, it's the Bordello tribute to two greats of motorsport. This is the Mark Winterbottom and Dean Canto salute to the 1977 Ford 1-2 finish.
First for victory in the 1977 Hardy Ferodo 1000.
On that moment in 77 was iconic. We all know it, and to run the livery and have not only the colours but Alan's blessing and support behind it is pretty cool as well.
I haven't seen a car that has got so many graphics on it and still look great.
Despite being born 4 years after the famous finish, it's still special to this man.
It was before we were born, but at the same time it's one of those iconic races that any Bathurst you watch, it got some sort of mention or some sort of footage in the highlights.
For Winterbottom and Canto, it's now or never. Winterbottom sits 6th with 3 races to go after Bathurst. They'll be going out, all guns blazing.
For us, all out, nothing to lose. We've got good bits in the car. The car should be quick, and Dean and I won't hold back. We'll be aggressive and do what we need to do to win it.
The last time Dean Canto drove with retro livery at Bathurst, he came second. Maybe this car will be the extra luck they need.
I think 3/10 of it, or not even 3/10 of a second, between Whincup and Dave that year. We finished second with the retro livery, but hopefully the roles are reversed this year.
Tom Corrigan, Prime 7 News.
Still to come in Prime 7 News, Coffs Harbour prepares to host the Australian Board Rider titles.
And Ladies' Day turns pink for a cause in Taree.
Taree Women's Golf Club today held its biggest annual charity event, the Pink Golf Day. Normally Wednesdays are only for female golfers, but today the women let the blokes on the green, provided they, of course, were kitted out in pink.
All golfers on the green were in the pink today. 112 players competed in the Charity Cup, raising $6,000 for the Cancer Council. Some took the competition more seriously than others.
Taree's challenging. They're too technical for me. I'm only a social golfer. Hit and hope.
Wednesdays is normally Ladies' Day on the course, but the Pink Cup is played in teams of 4, so most members invited their husbands along. However, the club president said you could swap your husband on the day for a new partner.
It looks like I might not like to play with my husband because I'm not playing with him today and I've lent him out to some other lady. But we share ourselves around a bit.
The competition is played over 18 holes and teams submit only the scores of the top 2 players. All prizes were donated by local businesses.
We have a $2,500 hole-in-one on the 14th hole. We have a TV, golf bag, you name it, we've got it over there.
The Taree Women's Golf Club say they are grateful to local business who have supported the Pink Golf Day, which is now in its 5th year. Christine Tondorf, PRIME7 News.
More than 20 of the coast's strongest junior surf lifesavers are at Lennox Head this week, honing their skills ahead of the competition season. The second instalment in the North Coast Academy's surf lifesaving program is developing technical skills learnt earlier at camps. It's a chance for boys and girls to see what they're up against once the real test begins.
Spend a lot of time with kids throughout the North Coast, so far North Coast, Mid North Coast and Lower North Coast, to get to know who you're competing against and what you're up against.
Competitions are starting to fire up along the coast for a chance to win a spot at the Aussie titles. Coffs Harbour will, for the first time, host the Nudie Australian Board Riders Battle. The competition gives local surfers the chance to compete alongside some of the best in the game.
The Nudie Australian Board Riders Battle is a national event and first-time hosts Coffs Harbour will be playing defending champions this weekend.
I think we haven't had to defend a title yet. We've won another event earlier this year at Durango on the Gold Coast, but this one's probably for us is the most prestigious event due to the different criterias and the range of surfers that are in it. We've got
categories range from junior girls through to masters, but it's the chance for local surfers to ride the same waves as some of the world's best, which has made this event so popular.
This series is sanctioned by the World Surf League, which is where they crown the world champions. So Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson, Stephanie Gilmore, those surfers are allowed to surf for their home clubs of Kira and Snapper.
Exciting for local juniors, although the exact teams to compete this weekend haven't yet been announced. The event will take place this Saturday, most likely at Macquarie's, Diggers or Park Beach. The exact location will be announced on the Surfing New South Wales website Saturday morning. Conditions are looking good.
A northerly swell on this Friday, so it's going to be a bit of a mix of swells, which is kind of, well, it suit most teams on the North Coast where we all surf similar beaches.
The 8 clubs competing on Saturday will be battling it out for a spot in the national final in Newcastle in February. Sky Carl, PRIME7 News.
Could we see some thunderstorms move through tomorrow afternoon? Carl has the latest local weather for us next.
For a closer look at the weather forecast, we're back to Carl Linders.
Mate, earlier in the bulletin you were talking about the potential for severe storms, so when are we looking at them coming in?
Good outbreak on Friday, Kenny, across the region. That's with this surface trough that's moving into Western Victoria tomorrow. It will run into a lot of moisture out of the Coral Sea, and by lunchtime a big broad area of shower and storm activity will develop. It does look likely to amplify through the weekend and linger ahead of another trough on Sunday, Monday. Another band of showers and storms, some severe, again lingers through Tuesday, Wednesday, and still further instability right through the outlook ahead of a major rain band at the end of the run. So all that total together to 8 days only brings good rainfall still on top of what has fallen, and this time for areas that missed out on the first batch of rain, inland areas this time, so places like Gloucester, Nabiac that missed out on the rainfall in particular, will get some falls over the next 8 days. And right through the region, still some good falls around generally. So tomorrow, a few showers inland of Kempsey Taree. The coast will remain fine with stable north to northeasterly winds, so quite pleasant. A couple of showers and storms in the north may drift towards the coast, more likely on the Queensland border. Temperatures in the mid to high 20s and humid in that northeasterly flow. That will freshen through the afternoon and evening with sea breezes, and we'll see the showers and storms really ramp up and intensify on Friday afternoon and spread to the coast by afternoon and evening, clearing the south later with a southerly change, a brief southerly, and temperatures coming down slightly for Saturday. Still the risk of afternoon and evening showers in the inland and across the Queensland border. There you go, just northwest of Casino, but still a drier day than what we've experienced on Friday. So the rainfall is stacking up, guys, through the region, so it's good news, and more storms and showers next week.
Great to see the rain. We'll need the umbrellas for the rest of the school holidays by the look of it. Thanks, Carl. See you tomorrow.
And that's your local news for tonight. You can discuss tonight's stories on Facebook.
And watch tonight's top stories on our website. Now, Prime 7 News at 6:30 with Daniel Gibson. Have a great night. Catch you tomorrow.